Hey guys, welcome to Blount Topics. I'm your host, Nick Blount. Do me a favor and go ahead and like, share, post, subscribe, do whatever you do. There will be a link also to this for YouTube on the website. Everything helps. So before we hop into what this podcast is about, let me go ahead and introduce myself. So again, my name is Nick. I'm in my 20s. I graduated from East Carolina University. I teach locally social studies, and my purpose in life is impact. In one word, it's just impact, because I want to leave an impact everywhere I go in every possible way that I can. And there's three modes of how I do this. So one is creation. This podcast is a result of that creation. Education. Let me educate myself before I educate others. And perspective, that comes with a part of me educating myself, because I have to hear from others to get that perspective, and I have to read, I have to talk, I have to listen more, most importantly, because if I don't have perspective, my world is two-dimensional. It's just me. So what's my goal? My goal of this podcast is to educate and make sure everyone can view life from different perspectives and create an impact that they can take with them. Take what you hear here in these podcasts and go create an impact somewhere else. Create an impact with somebody. Talk to 5 people and let them 5 people go talk to 5 more people, and it all ripples back to you. So why did I choose a podcast? So I actually created this podcast because I believe that issues that aren't discussed don't get resolved, and that people don't get healed, they don't get happier, and they don't get healthier unless they are provided with tools and options on how to be happier, healthier, and healed. So my impact on this podcast is to make sure everyone is heard and feels represented. So this is where the blunt part of the Blount Topics comes in, because it's not just my last name. We need to have some conversations. We need to talk. So what type of things will I talk about on this podcast? Well, everything. Nothing is too far out. There's nothing off the table that we will not talk about. So life happens to everyone that is on this planet. That's just how it is. If you are born, you have life. And life hits you in many different facets. I mean, it can hit you in the ways of travel, of finance, education, social mobility, where you were born. For those of you who don't know, I was born in the United States, so I am from here. Health. So health has taken a more interesting prominence in our society today, and that's great. It's 100% important. Like, it needs to be talked about. But what I'm loving the most is that throughout these 2010s into the 2020s, we've not just hit the physical, emotional, and social health of individuals. Now we're focusing on the mental health of people, especially after the pandemic. Especially during the times of like the great resignation of there's no reason for us to do this anymore because going into the work office might be detrimental to my mental health. And so that might be a discussion that we have at some point on this podcast. So health takes its place here. How does our body react with exercise? Things like that. Society and culture is another big thing. So we're going to talk about them trends. Yeah, we're going to talk about them trends best way we can. We're going to talk about them artists. And we're also going to talk about new literature, new books. How do we develop our minds as young people? And how do we build ourselves up? Not just building ourselves up, but how do we build ourselves up without tearing others down? And how can we connect, create a community, and be together as young adults? Next one is entertainment. So, guys, I love music. I love movies. I love TV shows. And I'm going to find people that like the same things or don't exactly like the same things, and we're going to talk about it. And then those really hard, blunt topics. Those hard to speak on topics. Things like politics, social issues, so like social injustice, education, the state of the world, and how can we here individually leave our impacts on the world to make it a better and safer place for not just us and the people who are already living, but the ones who come after us. Some of us already have children. Why not leave them the best that we can? Let our impact filter out through them. Other than that, guys, that is a brief summary of what we go over in this podcast. I hope you'll give us the support. I can't wait for you guys to come back. I hope you guys come back every week to hear new things. I hope something resonates with you from these podcasts and these episodes. Other than that, stay impactful.